All right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah Quitash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who have taught me this truth and who rule well in this truth. Shalom to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel that is scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Peace and mercy unto you. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You are for sure and are for certain the true Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks of. You are the true chosen people of the Bible, of that book. All right, so let's get into some news today, man. All right, this is coming from the People's Voice. All right, and the title of this article reads, Congress just voted to track your web history. Bill Gates celebrates major step towards digital ID surveillance state. Now, every time a step is taken forward to for digital ID, you should know what that leads up to. All right, the mark of the beast being the RFID microchip. All right, the RFID microchip is for sure and for certain what the mark of the beast is, man. All right, the false prophets are going to tell you, all right, that the mark of the beast is a spiritual thing. No, the mark of the beast is an actual physical, tangible thing that the elites want to implant under your skin. All right, but as you see right here in the title, all right, it says Congress just voted to track your web history, and they already do that, man. You know, they've been tracking everything that we freaking do, man. All right, that's why you get certain ads, all right, on your phone, because they're hearing and listening unto you. You could be talking about something, a certain topic or a product or this and that. Next thing you know, you got an ad for it, right? They know everything you do. All right, Google knows every website you visit. All right, nothing but fingerprints on websites you visit, man. All right, they sell your data to other companies, right? So they could target you for ads and all that, man. All right, so it says Congress just voted to track your web history. Bill Gates celebrates major step towards digital ID surveillance state. And why do you think all these people that sit in high places are calling for digital ID? Because that's what the elites want. They want a society led toward a digital ID to eventually bring forth what's known as in the Bible the mark of the beast, which is the RFID microchip. That's the whole point of this new world order. All right, they want to enslave, all right, the global population with their technology, all right, which is the RFID chip, all right, which is the mark of the beast that the Bible speaks of. But anyway, let's read, man. All right, because I just want to report on this real quick. I'm trying to hurry up because I got to head back to work. I'm on my lunch break. I ain't got too much time, but let's get it, man. All right, it says Congress just took the biggest step yet toward ending anonymous internet access in America. And really, there has never been anonymous internet access in America. Everywhere you go on the internet, you're being tracked. It says Congress just took that. That's never really been a thing in this modern day age, right? It says Congress just took the biggest step yet toward ending anonymous internet access in America, approving legislation that lays the digital groundwork for a national digital ID system designed to restrict non-compliant citizens from participating in society. Let me read that again. It says approving legislation that lays the groundwork for a national digital ID system designed to restrict non-compliant citizens from participating in society. All right? And you had that big ass, loud ass truck that just passed. Please forgive me, I'm around some traffic, so you might hear some loud ass traffic in the background. But again, I'll read that one more time. It says approving legislation that lays the groundwork for a national for a nationwide digital ID system designed to restrict non-compliant citizens from participating in society. And that's how they're trying to make it, because when the RFID microchip, which is the mark of the beast that the Bible speaks of, is ushered in and made mandatory under the punishment of death, that's how they're going to present it. Or if you want to be a part of society, right? If you want to continue doing what you do in regular day, you know, in society, then you have to take this RFID microchip. All right, but guess who's not going to take the RFID microchip? The elect, the true prophets and the true servants of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. All right, they're already not of this world. They're already not of this society. Don't give a damn about partaking, all right, in this modern day society. We're already against the society. Fuck the society. Fuck this world, man. We don't give a damn. Talking about you won't be able to participate in this society. Man, fuck all that shit. We don't give a damn anyway. All right? Only you people of this world want to continue in society in this modern day world. We're already not of the society of this world, man. All right? And Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Raptors, I am one of those men. You know? I don't give a damn about partaking in this wicked ass, faggot ass society, right? So it says, for years, critics of the global digital ID agenda, all right, have warned that governments would never simply announce the end of anonymous internet access. Instead, they will predict it. They will predict it would happen one small step at a time. Yeah, gradualism. All right, and that's how Esau Edom been coming. All right, it says, for years, critics of the global digital ID agenda have warned that governments would never simply announce the end of anonymous, all right, internet access. Instead, they predict it would happen one small step at a time. And that's what Esau Edom's been doing. He's been taking his sweet ass time, right? So it's it says, yeah, trying to condition everybody, get everybody used to living in a digital age, a digital society. All right, and for the most part, the masses have been conditioned. That's why you don't see people anymore carrying around cash like they used to. They either got their debit card, their credit card, right? They use their Apple Pay, their Google Pay, their Samsung Pay, right? They just boop right on the scanner, right, with their phone, right? It says first digital, all right, vaccine passports, then biometric identity verification, all right, then age checks for your safety, right, quote unquote safety, right, air quotations, right. It says then mandatory, yeah, for your safety, right. They use it, that's the guys they come with, right, for your safety, right. But we know what it's all about. We see through the madness, all right, because the true prophets and the true servants of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai know exactly what is going on and what is happening. All right, we see through the madness. The elect can't be deceived, like the scriptures say. If it be at all possible, they shall deceive the very elect. But it's not possible. That's why the elect is the elect, and that's why they warn. All right, to let you know what's popping off and what's going on. All right, so you can see through the madness as well, right? It says then mandatory online identification to protect children, right? Yeah, to protect children, right? Quote unquote, right? Finally, an internet where every search, every article, every video, every political opinion and website visit, all right, can be linked back to a verified digital identity. And they already know who's visiting who, doing this, who's, you know what I mean? All right, but they trying to even make it more to the point. You know, that's why you got the RFID chip coming. All right, they want total control, complete control. That's what it's about, right? Enslavement of this earth. All right, that's that God complex, right? Esau Edom wants to feel like a god. He sitteth in the temple of the Most High, claiming that he is the Most High, right? Congress has just moved the United States another step down that path, and Bill Gates and globalist architects of the digital ID system are celebrating. Yeah, all right, and you know, like the scriptures say, you know, you know, the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, you know, are going to dangle it right in front of them, right? Are going to tease them, right? Make them think that they got the world in their hands, like they got it, like they did it, right? That's how they going to celebrate. They going to think it's in the grasp of their hands. It is going to be in the grasp of their hands. But when they go to close their fists, the Most High going to yank it from them. Like the scriptures say, right when they're eating, right? When their bellies are full, right when they're eating, the Most High is going to cast it upon their heads. You know, roughly paraphrasing that verse, right? Right when they're eating, right when their bellies are full, the Lord is going to yank it from them. That's when the Lord is going to crack that sky in half. All right, because when they're in their bunkers, right, and they see these nuclear missiles going off, right, hitting this earth, they're going to be in their bunker celebrating like, yeah, we did it, like, yeah, right? But Yahweh Shai going to crack that sky, right? And then we're going to pull them out of their bunkers, and they're going straight in the chains. All right, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, I am of the elect, and I have that honor, right? Like the scriptures say in Psalms 149. All right, this honor ye have all his saints, you know, roughly paraphrasing, right? When it talks about putting their nobles in fetters of iron and in chains, right? This honor have ye all his saints, you know? It's a beautiful thing to get payback on your enemy, man. You know, it is a righteous thing to recompense tribulation, all right, to those that trouble you, you know? It says, speaking before an audience of world leaders and tech oligarchs, self-appointed global health czar Bill Gates openly called for the total fusion of biometric digital IDs, all right, personal bank accounts, payment systems, agriculture surveillance, and centralized health records. And why is he calling for all of this, right? Because he's just another puppet for the elite bankers. All right, these lesser illuminary billionaires, right? They're all puppets, and they carry out the order, all right, for the elite bankers, right? It says Bill Gates openly called for the total fusion of biometric digital IDs, personal bank accounts, payment systems, agriculture surveillance, and centralized health records, framing it as essential progress for humanity's safety and health. All right, dog. Yeah, you know, Esau just, everything this nigga do is wicked, right? It says now Gates' totalitarian surveillance dream is one step closer to reality. Let's read a little more because I got to head back into work. It says the recently approved Kids Internet and Digital Safety, all right, Kids Act, is being sold as legislation to protect children online. Yeah, that's what it's being sold for, but that's a fake ass guys they're going with, right? We know what it's all about. But privacy advocates warn that requiring widespread age verification will force millions of Americans to submit to Gates' digital ID surveillance system, all right, to prove who they are before accessing the internet. This is just another internet regulation. It's the beginning of the infrastructure required for a permanent digital ID system. Yeah, all right. It's a precursor, right? It's just, this isn't just another internet regulation. It's the beginning of the infrastructure, all right, required for a permanent digital ID system. Yeah, that's what they're headed toward, right? So it says critics of the digital ID program have argued for years that governments don't need, all right, to mandate a universal digital ID overnight, but that's what's going to happen. All right, you're going to hear it on the news, the radio, breaking news, all right. Mandatory RFID microchip, head to your nearest chipping station, right? It's going to be breaking news, man. It says instead they can build the pieces separately. One law requires age verification. Another encourages biometric authentication. All right, banks already verify identities. Airlines verify identities. Mobile phones providers verify identities. Social media verifies identities. Yeah. All right, so you see what's going on right here. All right, I'll go down. I'll skip down a little bit, right? So digital ID Trojan horse, perhaps. The greatest concern isn't what today's lawmakers intend, it's what tomorrow's lawmakers inherit, a nationwide identity verification infrastructure built to protect children, quote unquote, could, all right, critics argue, later be expanded to combat misinformation. Yeah, all right, and they doing that now. All right, that's why my other channel, well, it's not really it's not combating misinformation, it's combating the truth. They don't want the truth to be put out there, and they label it as misinformation, right? False information, right? And that's why my other YouTube channel is now suspended for 2 weeks, right? I gotta lay low on that channel for a little while. That's why I'm uploading on this channel, right? Because now I got 2 strikes, and the third strikes, you're gone forever, right? Come on, man. All right, because I've been putting the truth out there. Esau Edom don't like being exposed, right? But anyway, it says later be expanded to combat misinformation, hate speech. Yeah, that's exactly what I got taken down for, right? It says election interference, all right, financial crime, and public health emergencies. Every future crisis becomes another reason to require a little more verification, all right? A few more restrictions and a few fewer anonymous voices. So I end it right there. I gotta head back to work. All right, so Lord willing, Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Ratazah. This lesson is or was edifying. All right, call her Lawyum. Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah, Quitash. The water, Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah, Quitash. Tawab, Aman. Until the next one, Shalom.